the vice chair, so I'll call the meeting to order. If everybody's ready? Everybody's here? So we'll call the first quarter of 2025, the first meeting of the Economic Development Authority to order here this morning on January 16th, 8:30. I'm taking the places of the chairman this morning, Rory, and first order of business is roll call. So I'll just call your name and you just say here or present, that'd be great. Bruce Sanders? Here. Lisa McLaughlin?
Present.
Sam Rice?
Here.
Billy Barrick?
Here.
Taryn Bryce Rowland?
Here.
And Tom Richardson, vice chair, is here. And Roy Carter, are you online?
I am here by Zoom.
By Zoom. Excellent. Rory, I think I'll pass the agenda back to you then.
Tom, I think since you're there in person, I'd rather you go ahead and take care of the agenda.
Okay,
This-
very good. Next on the agenda is the approval of the October 17th, 2024 meeting minutes. They were emailed out to the board, and we have them here in printed form. Has everybody had a chance to review them? Any corrections or changes needed from any board members? If not, I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Thank you. We have a first and second. All in favor to approve the minutes of the October 17th meeting minutes, say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. Next on the agenda is election of 2025 EDA officers per bylaws, Article 4. John, do you want to lead us through that, or Don?
You want me to do it? Yes. All right. As the executive director, I'll take this part of the meeting. Is there a nomination from the floor for chairman of the EDA for 2025?
I nominate Roy Carter.
All right. Roy, did you hear that?
Again, what did you say? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
Bruce Sanders has nominated you for chairman of the EDA for 2025. Will you accept that nomination?
I've been chair for a long time, and I really think I'd love for someone else to step up and take the chair. I would be happy to be vice chair, or, I'm a team player. I'll do whatever you all want. I was hoping that Tom Richardson might take it. I'd love to have a person in the financial industry be the head of the board, as Jeff Sapersky was previously. I think it helps out in many ways to have someone with that background. So I would like to step aside and see someone else. And if no one else wants to take it, I'd be happy to be it again. I'd like the members to decide on that, but I think that Tom would make next to chairman.
Okay, so it sounds like you're declining that nomination at this point. So are there any other nominations from the floor for chairman?
Well, in that case, I'll nominate Tom Richardson.
Any further nominations from the floor for chairman? Is there a motion to close the nominations?
Do we have an accept? Do we have Tom first?
Do you have what?
Just Tom accept the nomination first.
Yeah, I guess I should ask that.
I'm not sure, Roy, do you accept it, or do you just go along with the crowd?
Well, you have to accept the nomination if you
Well, Rory and I have been talking, and it's, I've been vice chair for a year, and I'll accept the nomination.
Any further nominations? Is there a motion to close nominations?
Motion to
Motion
close.
closed.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor of Tom Richardson being the 2025 chair of the EDA signify by raising your right hand. Oh, and say aye for a Zoom participant.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. So Tom, you are the 2025 chairman, and I will pass the gavel back to you now to continue with the meeting.
Okay. Well, thank you all.
Should have informed me of your back-end conversation.
Well, there's been a couple, but I was maybe thinking there's somebody else
I'm
would
just
like to step up, but that's fine. Thank you all. Thank you all. Well, we need to, since I was vice chair, we have to go ahead and get a nomination for vice chair for the EDA for the 2025 year. Are there any nominations for vice chair or any volunteers?
Well, I can volunteer again. If Roy doesn't want it, I'll volunteer.
Great. So we have we'll nominate Taryn Bryce Rowland as vice chair.
Okay.
Can we have a motion to close the nomination process for vice chair?
So moved.
I mean, really, Roy, if you want it, I'm very happy to do that.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Taryn, that's nice. I know you've got extra responsibilities now with a young baby. And as I said previously, just a few minutes ago, I'd be happy to be vice chair and support in any way I can. So if someone wanted me to nominate me for vice chair, I would accept, but I'm not trying to take it from you, Taryn. I just know with a young baby at home and a business person, I'm retired and I've got more time, so I'll help out. I'm a team player. I'll help out in any way I can, and I still plan to go to the chamber meetings and council meetings and things just because I enjoy it.
I think I misheard you, Roy. Please, it is all yours.
So I understand Taryn is
I will accept.
nominating Rory Carter as vice chair. Is there a second for Rory?
Same, yes.
I'll second it.
All in favor for Rory Carter as vice chair, say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. Well, that's all the officers we are required to elect.
Yes, the three that are listed under others attending will carry over their roles.
Okay. Readoption of the EDA bylaws for 2024.
2025.
Anything?
2025, that's a typo.
2025, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Are there any changes to the bylaws?
There have been no changes.
Okay. 'Cause I have not seen them in a while.
No changes from previous year. They were emailed out. They're in front of everybody. There's a motion to readopt the bylaws for 2025
I'll second it.
as presented. I think you made the,
I made the motion.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll second.
Okay. We have a first and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I guess we have to raise our hands for Zoom.
Yeah.
Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, that's all the kind of the business stuff for the new year. Am I missing anything, Don or John?
No, that's it.
Okay.
So we'll move on to the grant application here in front of us. Can you?
Hi, Emily, you're up.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to see you all again. Thank you for having me back here. The EDA has been one of the only grant opportunities, that are out there for small businesses that we apply to every year that continues to allow us to come in and request funding. So we're really grateful for that. I know that historically the EDA has provided funding for startup businesses, specifically this chapter of the EDA, for startup businesses and for nonprofits. And I return to you today, already being an EDA success story. You guys helped us 2 years ago with a grant of $5,000. That was really all we had, and that's really, we used every penny of it to open our studio. And so now I'm here 2 years later, still doing well, all launched off of that. So incredibly, incredibly grateful for that. But I do also understand the goals of the EDA and the capabilities of the EDA, what you have to offer, what you can give, and what your objectives are. So today I'm here to request funding for development, so the D in EDA, that we are established, we are viable, meaning that we cover our expenses, we cover our debts, and we pay our taxes, which for a new business I think is wonderful. I want to say these things because I'm not intending to, take the EDA's money and then crash down. We're intending to take the EDA's money and grow exponentially. Our intention here is to stay in this community, like really deeply stay here. We're helping people, and we want to grow as much as we can, as fast as we can. Ultimately, we have a very, very large vision to establish a foundation here that would make the Northern Neck absolutely a destination of healing and of transformation, more so than it already is with its natural resources. People come here for that, but we offer, concrete techniques and methods that are very clearly working. I would love for you to take some time to read a few of the reviews that I've put in the presentation. This is just a handful of our most recent. Now, across all of our platforms, we have over 40, almost 50 reviews just like this from people, commenting on what our services have done for them. I'd like to highlight that because we're very different than anything here, a complete unique asset to the community, and I think that's something that the EDA is really looking for. We are much more than what people think when you might think of a yoga studio. If you see in the reviews there, we're helping people to heal, from emotional pain, from spiritual pain, from physical pain, not just heal, but then also transform their life with the traditional ancient teachings of yogic science, yoga philosophy, Ayurvedic science, Reiki healing. There's such a broad range of holistic wellness that we do that's not currently offered here. That in terms of competition, honestly, we don't have any. People come to us because there's no other option for them. So I definitely think it's in the EDA's interest to continue to support us, to grow this community. I'm half of a duo. My husband and I are doing all of this ourselves, and with the growth that we want to see and the amount of work that is already currently on our plate, we need help. The two of us are not enough, especially in terms of marketing. So part of the funding that we're requesting is for marketing help. Immediately upon receiving funding, we would hire a local marketing expert to work with us. It's a small community, but even so, we haven't, been able to reach everybody here. I've created so much high-quality content for our business, but it's just not reaching people. I've self-taught everything, but I've really hit a wall with marketing and advertising. That's not my forte, and I would love to hire somebody that understands the local market to help get us out in here. Part of what we would want to do in that is to, at the same time, market, promote, and support local business. So providing sponsorships to the Lancaster County Public School System through their ads, sponsored by, providing sponsorships to the YMCA, to the ballpark. I have family in this community who uses all of these assets, so I would love to, at the same time, support them, build us up. I love to, when I go to these places, to see, that this business is supporting them. I then continue to support those businesses because I think that's so important for our growth and for their growth and what the Economic Development Authority stands for, So that's part of the funding, marketing, advertising. Another part, sorry, just give me a moment. I've kind of broken it down into 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's expansion and support. We need to improve some of our services. So some of our main services that really help people use the use of a massage and therapy table. We need to really upgrade that because our massage and therapy bookings have tripled, and my husband currently is doing all of it. And so a bed that lifts to height adjust, depending on the person, so he's not bending. So mechanical, hydraulic. We have an increase in pregnancy bookings, so specific tables that, compensate for pregnancy. Anyway, they're expensive. They're upwards of starting at $1,500, but it's really uncapped if how nice you want to go in that. So the better we can invest, the better we can serve. That's something that we need, like tangibly need. And then last time I was here, I was talking about our Going Global initiative, trying to improve on our live streaming capabilities. Since I've been here last, we've invested over $2,000 of our own dollars of what's left, the little that's left at the end of the year, into upgrading our microphones, our computer, and some accessory equipment. But we still need the specific cameras, which are $2,500. And again, marketing to promote that. It's the initiative behind that is to expand out of the community, but also to provide another option for people when they're sick, they can't come into the studio, when they're new or when they can't afford in studio. Virtual things are cheaper, they're more convenient, they're more safe. So it's about resilience, and the services we offer need consistency. So we have people right now, it's the cold, they can't come in, and they're reaching out. Do you have any online classes this week? I can show you the text. I'm sick, I can't come in, but I don't want to lose my routine. And we just can't afford to do that right now because it takes a lot of time, and this camera setup that we're talking about would allow us to basically just flip a switch and boom, we're online, someone can tune in. Right now we have to be very, we're on the camera, we're on the mic, we're moving things, there's two of us, we're dedicating separate time from the people in the studio to do that, and it's not sustainable right now. So that's a service we want to expand on, and it's expensive. I do want to highlight that this year specifically, we have seen a major shift in the community. Usually these winter months are a really hard time. Financially we're really struggling. We don't have a lot of bookings. And I think it's a reflection of the market because, people have seen our services in the past maybe as a luxury, and luxuries fall out when financial times are hard, when, you're doing holidays, when you're sick. But the viewpoint has shifted, and now we're being seen as essential. I can't drop this. I need this to get me through these times. It's elevating other parts of their life, and I think that's a shift in the global vision of wellness and, holistic healing. And I would love to just be able to continue that and to keep the Northern Neck trending in that direction because, like I said, we want to expand here, and I think we can really become a destination for that. And then the last thing I want to speak on as far as funding, anything, that would be provided outside of purchasing the table, hiring, marketing. We have two major projects this year, and one of them I mentioned was taking people to India later this year. We've got already 25 people that are going with us, and I think that's it. We're going to cap it. Unless we open a second batch. So that's a major project, and revenue from that project, our intention is to, again, reinvest and take action that stands for what the EDA stands for in purchasing real estate for our business. We would like to have, instead of having to go on these destination retreats, we would like to have a location that is ours, that people can come to be part of our retreats and our services. And then the second thing, outside of hiring a marketing expert, we need to hire a teammate who can help us teach. That's not a small task. What we do is very specific. There's a lot of training involved. And so we are accredited to teach, to train, to certify people all over the world, but we need to get the people here to do that. So again, that's another marketing leap, that's hiring. So we plan to run a program this year, and through that program, find our new hires. So those are two of our objectives this year. And I know I've said a lot. I think the last thing that I want to say and I want to highlight is that over this past year, we've continued to hold a lot of free events. We've held fundraisers and benefit classes to raise money for the hurricanes this year. We volunteered our time with the school systems. And those are things that, as we grow, we want to grow. You know, right now we have, for example, the Lancaster County School System is desperately requesting our services for the kids, but budgeting-wise, they don't have it because they're putting it into the new high school. And we would love to just volunteer, you know, and we do, and we have, but we can't afford, you know, to continue to do so much of that. And we do that in multiple different areas. So the stronger we are, the more we can continue to volunteer our time elsewhere. So that's definitely something that's close to our heart in the community and that we would see grow. All of these things said, I'm really, really happy to continue to check in with the EDA, to have a 6-month check-in and show you where every penny is going, show you, you know, what we've done, how we volunteer our time, how we've expanded our services. And I really invite each one of you to come into the studio and see what we do for yourself. I know Roy is on Zoom. We work with him pretty regularly. So please come see us if you haven't already. I think it's really special, and I really appreciate your time today. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Emily.
You're welcome.
Questions for Emily?
I have a question. I actually have 2 questions for you, Emily.
Yeah.
Thank you for the update on how you guys are doing. And my questions are, so you have, you talked about the marketing piece, hiring someone, but then you've got laid out the costs of the cameras and the kind of equipment to go online. So is the priority the equipment?
The priority would be the table.
Okay.
The table, and then marketing, and then cameras.
And is the marketing, that I assume that would be like an ongoing cost, like a monthly cost
Yeah,
that you
so
pay someone? Or
marketing is so flexible. You know, you can put an ad on Facebook for $1, you know, or you could hire an expert for thousands, or it's uncapped. So it's whatever we have, we'll put in, you know. But if we had to choose between, you know, the $2,500 cameras and a $2,500 marketing, you know, investment, right now we would choose marketing.
Okay, so you think marketing is what will take you farther this year than the ability to get online and teach?
Yeah, because
the way you
marketing,
were
you know, it
teaching?
feeds itself. So whatever, you know, we invest in marketing, whatever comes out from that can then be back invested into the cameras. Because we are set up right now to offer private online things. So that's what we've been focusing on growing. But we want to expand that to make it more accessible, more affordable. You know, private is not cheap and most people can't do it. So we're trying to reach a broader, you know, we're trying to live stream. We're trying to open the studio to anyone and everyone all the time.
Got it. And do you have a marketing person identified, or is that something you guys are
I
still
don't.
researching?
Yeah.
You don't yet?
Yeah. It would be funding dependent.
Yeah. And then my other question is, you mentioned that you guys have a goal down the road of opening a foundation. What is that? What would the goals of that be?
Yeah. So I don't want to give a spoiler, but no, the intention is really, really massive. So when you go to India, you have what's called an ashram, which offers complete free service. So that would be one portion of it. It would be accompanied by a yoga school, by recreation facilities, by healthy eating facilities. Imagine a country club, but completely for wellness, with a spa, with a gym, with the yoga facility, with childcare, with healthy eating, all of these things would be there.
Very cool. And do you have a model for that you've seen? I mean, you mentioned that they have them in India, but
Yeah.
is there a model for that here in the States that you guys have visited or
There is
familiar with?
one, not really, no. There is one in Tennessee that we have been to that we base the yoga portion of our business off of, but, you know, our model and our view is that it's not, in the modern world, 100% realistic, to be a complete, yoga. You can't. Not everybody can go, meditate in the woods 8 hours a day. So we have a modern approach where this is a place where you come and you holistically get everything that you would need, so that you can go back into your daily life.
Wonderful. Okay, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Have you guys looked into any other grants or,
Yeah.
I know we've met, the EDA has met with the SBA representative from Richmond, and there was quite a bit on her website. Have you guys looked into any of those funding options?
Yeah, so just, when I applied here, which was November, so just in the, the end of the year round of grant applications, I think I put out 6 applications, and the EDA is the only one who I even had consideration from. So
Okay, I just want to make sure.
there
you
are
know those.
options, but I do feel that they are very, saturated and, competitive, which I will continue to try.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In terms of, I guess, the live stream option, what is the business model you're pursuing for that you intend to pursue for that?
Can you be more specific?
Sure, so for live streaming, is that going to be included with a membership to
Yeah.
the studio, or is there like a live or an online membership dedicated for those who,
Yeah.
yeah, can you speak?
Yeah, so there would be a live stream only membership.
Okay.
So anybody anywhere in the world or someone who just doesn't want to come in person. We currently offer an unlimited membership to the studio that would be automatically including the live classes because those people come in, but on the days they can't come in. Yeah, and then we have, of course, like one class and drop-in, options, which I think online we wouldn't offer that. It would be a subscription. But
And did I hear you say with the foundation, the ashrams are free in India? Free
yeah, so that
access?
portion of it, and yeah, it is true. You go and it's all volunteer-based. So at that point, we would be talking about transitioning into nonprofit, which is something that, we're headed towards. But right now, our focus is learning the market, learning the community, growing and being really stable so that we can do that. But yes, in an ashram, everything is free. Yoga is free, food is free, board is free, but you volunteer and you help back. And it's very simple living. But it would not be that exact model, but to offer at least free yoga services to somebody in need would be something that we'd love to do.
Okay, because I was trying to understand what you were saying the model you were pursuing was. So that helps a lot. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And as far as the market research, I mean, as far as the table goes, that's your top priority, you've said, and that is to help.
My husband's back.
Your husband's back, okay. To make sure, because he's your number one asset right now, I
Yeah.
assume, and you want to protect that, okay.
But also to expand to more clientele, we need something that's a little bit wider and, can lift
Sure.
and go down for people who can't, get up, so.
Okay. So the ROI on that is, it's more of a protection, it's not an immediate, there's the potential for the ROI. Forget my question.
Yeah, it would absolutely expand the quality and the availability of the service.
Right.
And it would allow us to offer it to a wider range of people.
Sure.
So.
I was going to ask about the market research on the pregnancy perspective of that, but like, it's irrelevant really in the end.
We did, this past year, we purchased a massage chair, which was close to $1,000, that does accommodate pregnancy, but they have to sit, but it lets the belly, go inside, so that, we continue to invest in the business. But this is a table that has a removable center, for prenatal and, yeah.
Did a prenatal massage last year, and that would have been very nice to have a table that was prepared for that, so.
Yes, let us know if you need postnatal care.
Oh, no, I was like, no more prenatal massages for this one. Fantastic, and then, I guess the timetable, how quickly you could put these plans in place is really my next question, just to make sure we're aligned.
Yeah, marketing, as soon as I find somebody, if you have any suggestions, I'm really open to that. I would be willing to hire them as soon as possible. The table could be ordered tomorrow, cameras could be ordered tomorrow. We are ready. We are, like I said, our intention is to grow here as fast as we can, as much as we can. Absolutely no delay. In terms of foundation and these things, these are really further down the road. It's going to take, big investment and, pitching, to many, many people. So that's not something that I can really say when or how. That's really out of our hands and in God's hands, and we just continue to do what we do.
Sure, absolutely.
Emily, what brought you here to the Northern Neck?
My father, Brett Dawson, he's from here. So we grew up a little bit away, but we came here all the time. All I heard about was his river house and how he wanted to get back to the river. So all the kids were gone, he moved back, and then I traveled, I ran, I did everything for years and years and years, and then I met my husband. He's from India, and I brought him home.
And then, more pertinent question. There's a lot of, I say a lot, there's several different yoga studios and other wellness providers locally and small, Do you all market together? It would seem to me that there would be some type of joint marketing effort that could really bring people to the area to use the wellness, you or others, but it would, that you could maybe have a bigger impact if you did some joint marketing. Has that been discussed?
Honestly, we do not, and that's a very, specific choice. A lot of the others do things together, and we have chosen not to just because we're very focused on what we're doing. And personally, from my perspective, it has been distracting to try to be collaborative. And I think that's just a personal business choice, and that's something that perhaps marketing could help with. I did try initially to do more of that, and I couldn't focus on, growing our business and helping and expanding out. And I think so far it's working for us, to trek on and do what we're doing. We don't exclude anything. That's just not the path of our marketing and our model.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for the applicant? No? Good? Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Now,
Unless you
if
want
that's
to
the end of the applicants, and now we'll go into closed session.
I'll give you a holler after the meeting.
Like on the phone, or should I wait?
I'll call you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Take care. Have a good day. Now, do we adjourn to a closed session, I guess? Or
No, it would be appropriate for someone to make a motion to go into closed meeting, and I'll help you with that, Mr. Chairman. If someone would make a motion to enter into closed meeting to discuss matters exempt from the open meeting requirements of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, the subject matter to be discussed is grant request, Section 2.23711A6 of the Code of Virginia 1950 as amended. The purpose is the specific discussion or consideration of the investment of public funds where competition or bargaining is involved and where, if made public, the financial interests of the governmental unit would be adversely affected. If someone would,
So motion.
okay, and a second and a vote, and then you'll be in closed meeting.
We have a first, and a second.
Second.
Taryn and Lisa, all in favor of closed session? Say aye. Raise your hand. We are
Aye.
in closed session.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Before you begin the closed session, I might have to ask for a 5-minute recess so I can get Roy into a different meeting.
We'll recess for 5 minutes.
In order for it to be truly closed from everybody that might be viewing online, which I mean there is nobody, but just in case somebody were.
My wife said she was going to watch. She's not watching?
Anyway, I didn't anticipate that ahead of time. I would appreciate it.
We'll take a 5-minute recess.
From the public meeting into a different
we'll take a 5-minute recess.
So when your wife tells you that she saw you,
So much going on. Good, we had a great holiday season of sales. I bought Sundays on a new space across the street from the church.
yeah, those correct.
Maybe or like, is the,
What I do, you had shared with me, and I lost it at one point, that language that they use for the closing.
I'm gonna go.
You tell me when I should start reading.
You good? Go.
I'm good. So I start at the very top. I move that Lancaster County Economic Development Authority adopt the following certification resolution. Whereas the Lancaster County Economic Development Authority convened in a closed meeting on January 16th, 2025, pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote on the motion to close the meeting to discuss grant proposals in accordance with Section 2.2-3711-A-6 of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas Section 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the EDA that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with the Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Lancaster County Economic Development Authority hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act was heard, discussed, or considered in the closed meeting to which this certification applies. And 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting to which this certification applies. Before a vote is taken on this resolution, is there any member who believes that there was a departure from the requirements of number 1 and number 2? And if so, identify yourself and state the substance of the matter and why, in your judgment, it was a departure. Hearing no statement, I call the question, and I vote to certify the resolution.
And then each member needs to say, I certify as well.
Mrs. Bryce Rowland,
I certify.
Mr. Sanders,
Certified.
Mrs. Lachlan,
I certify.
Mr. Rice,
I certify.
Mr. Barrick,
I certify.
Mr. Carter.
I certify.
There we go.
This certification resolution is adopted. We are out of closed session with all of that read. Very good. You got to do it by the book.
That's right.
Yeah. So we heard an applicant for EDA funding today. Any other discussion that needs to, anybody have any other discussion or motions that they'd like to make at this time?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve a $2,500 grant to Rishi Yoga and Wellness for the massage table and the camera and monitor equipment.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Do we, real fast, do we actually have to say something more to that it's earmarked for that, sufficient, like, only for that purpose, or is that sufficient?
No, I think it's stated in the motion. I think
Yeah.
that's
Okay,
good.
okay, perfect.
Okay, we have a motion and a proper second. All in favor of the EDA granting $2,500 for the tangible assets only, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Very good. Motion carries. Okay, moving on to financial status report. Mr. Bateman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'll try to break through this real quick. Our community partnership checking account had a beginning balance as of October 17th, 2024 of $43,177.02. There were 2 credits, 1 credit from the Mariners Museum administrative fee that was collected of $6,222.76. Interest earned for October, November, and December was $10.29. And there were 2 debits, one for a grant of $7,500 to Home Access Solutions, and one for annual chamber membership of $1,300, leaving us an ending balance of $40,610.07. Our domestic government unit CD had automatically renewed in August of last year at a very low interest rate. I think it was 1.23. We caught that and closed that CD and opened up a new 10-month CD at the 4.42%. Interest is credited quarterly. It was opened October 31st, 2025, matures August, I'm sorry, it was opened August 31st, 2024, matures August 31st, 2025, and renews automatically at the then current rate unless withdrawn. So the beginning balance when it was opened was $41,744.57. The interest that was earned for those months will be credited on January 31st, so I do not have that to report to you today, but I will at the next meeting. And there are no debits. So that remains the current balance of that domestic government unit CD. A reminder that EDA currently has an annual revenue of approximately $12,472 from administrative fees collected on prior bond issuances. The county 22 bond, which matures in 2043 and is due in February of 2025, $6,250. And bond to the Mariners Museum matures in 2036, due October 2025, $6,222, for a total of $12,472. Any questions?
So we have $40,000 in our checking account, plus we have a $41,000 CD.
That's right. And this very well could be a segue into our conversation about the direction, funding and role and direction of the EDA.
And then last year, we asked the Board of Supervisors for $60,000 from the poorhouse track.
Correct.
And are we planning, do we need a plan to ask them for more funds this year? Or I guess we need a reason for the funds.
Well, the last year, I think you all had a max of $15,000 per quarter that you stated you would award. So 4 quarters, that came to $60,000. That was the rationale behind asking for that. I think that's certainly.
And that $60,000 is in the CD or in both?
It's in the checking
Yeah, it's
account.
in the-
Yeah, it was
it's in the-
transferred, I think, back in, I'm not sure when now, but that is aside from the budget. The Poorhouse Tract Fund is a separate fund from the general fund. So, that request for transfer of those funds can be made at any time during the year. There is a balance in that Poorhouse Tract Fund of about $300,000 and change right now. I don't have that in front of me. But that wouldn't be a budgetary item. That would be, just whenever you all decided that you needed it, I would take it to the board as a consideration item, and if they approve it, we would transfer the money.
Okay. Any questions about that?
John and Don, I have a question. Are you all aware, are there any monies that are owed to us from some of the grants that we had given, or some of the bonds that we had floated that are in arrears? Or is everything up to date and we don't have any debits there that are owed to us?
Everything is up to date. The county's $6,250 will be, the check will actually be dated January 31st. You may or may not remember, that was for a $5 million note back in 2022 for non-school related capital improvement items. Truist Bank was the bank that handled that. The first payment that the county had to the EDA was actually due February 1st of '24, but you may remember I paid that early back in May of '23 because the EDA's funds were depleted at that time. So the due date is actually February 1 each year, but I paid that first payment of $7,990 7 months early back in '23. But that's everything is up to date. There were 2 prior bond issuances. They have both been refunded, refinanced elsewhere, so we no longer collect any administrative fee from those. I'll just give you a heads up that the county is probably going to be looking at another bond issuance this year for non-school related capital improvement items, mainly to help finish out these parks that we have in progress right now. And, the EDA can issue up to $10 million annually per calendar year. And so that may be, probably will be coming to the EDA at some point in time during 2025.
How much is that?
It'll probably be close, I'm going to guess right now it'll be closer to the max at 10 million than the last note.
Okay. And the county can direct that they go through the county EDA?
Yeah, I mean, that's been, our financial advisor, Davenport and Company, has, they usually put out an RFP to various banks and facilitate it through the EDA.
Yeah, and I'll point out that there was interest from the YMCA through Paul Shakatano in a bond, but unfortunately, I think our limits.
Yeah, we fit the definition of a small issuer under the IRS definition, and so we're capped at 10 million per calendar year.
But something like that, if it's a bigger bond issue, can't they use multiple EDAs?
They can. Yeah.
So we could team up with Richmond County or
Yeah,
whatever.
and that's like the Mariners Museum, the original note, Lancaster's portion was 9.6 million, but it was a $60 million
Right.
venture. So yeah, you can use multiple EDAs. What I suggested to Paul when he first mentioned this to me was, was there any possibility of, splitting it between 2 years? Coming in at the end of 24 and then coming in at the beginning of 25, and that way you could, get 10 million each calendar year. But
I really think we need to work hard as a group to fund the 10 million a year so we can get our revenues up. I mean, there's been years and years that we haven't been used, that $10 million
Yeah.
hasn't been used.
And I mean, we've had this discussion before, how do we do that? Our bond counsel, Sands Anderson, my contact is Dan Siegel. He, there aren't that many, bond counsel folks out there. And whenever he hears of something, he lets us know. I will tell you that, not all the EDAs charge an administrative fee. I mean, we charge 1/8 of 1% of the outstanding balance owed. So on a $10 million bond, you're looking at $12,500 for that first year. Then it would be 1/8 of 1% on the outstanding balance thereafter.
There's plenty of bond issues, so we just need to be the squeaky wheel and have a meeting with, sounds like maybe this year we'll have it with our own county, but
Yeah.
we can raise our hand, I think, more and get a little more activity with that.
I mean, I've told Dan multiple times, anything you hear, let us know. And I think he does.
Yeah, and if you guys, as a group or a subgroup of you wanted to set up a meeting with Dan, we could certainly have that this year, just to kind of talk, strategize maybe.
That'd be great.
And maybe it could be part of a larger conversation that doesn't just include a discussion about the bond.
So financial status report, that was kind of information.
Yeah.
Nothing to get voted on. Any other questions members may have on financials? Moving down the agenda, discussion about EDA funding role and direction.
I think we've kind of already started in that,
Yeah.
in that discussion. So we talked about the bonds. We could talk about the number of grants you guys issued in 2024, which I have that right here.
I think I think maybe we need an ad hoc committee of a couple of us to look at this grant request criteria. It hasn't been updated since 2021, and just to really, I think that's going to be, to me, it should be our kind of guiding document. The applicants get this, correct?
Yes, they do.
And just to be very clear on what we do and our,
To me, we haven't had as many people applying as we have in the past. I don't know, that's just a gut feeling, but that
Yeah.
would be interesting to find out.
You,
Since we stopped the more public funding, none of those people have come back at all. I mean, they used to come every year, and now nobody shows up at all. I don't know if we meant to tell them they weren't welcome at all, but
I think, well, I don't mind. Are you talking about public sector funding?
yeah, I was talking, yeah.
The
I-
nonprofits.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm okay with that, though. I think we're serving, we don't need to give all of our money away because we're gonna run out if we do. So I think saving it for the initiatives that are gonna make the biggest impact, or for the small businesses that could use that jumping off the ground, really meets our mission better.
Well, I
than-
agree with you.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting. We just said we weren't gonna do it every year.
Oh.
They're not back here at all.
Sure.
So,
The nonprofits.
the nonprofits, yeah.
If I could please, I could point out, in 2021, you guys issued awards totaling $34,000. In 2022, you issued awards totaling $21,500. In 2023, you issued awards totaling $44,500. And in 2024, you issued $30,000 in awards.
Okay, so it's fairly close.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just a discussion, it just, since I'm fairly new to the board, I mean, we're just doing micro grants. I mean, we're, you know, and is that where we want to continue to make the impact that we want to, or do we want fewer, larger awards?
I think we have to figure out the alignment with the county first to answer that question. And so I think the strategy question is really, well, I do agree, we need to tackle the criteria and answer that question. I think we need to have a better sense of what our big picture is right now, and if we want to continue on the path we've been, or do the alignment with 2035 that we've been talking about for years, but not able to tackle until now.
Yes, I agree that you need to address the grant criteria and what your focus is as a group in regards to not only the grant program, but what other resources and support you'd like to provide local businesses. The 2035 plan just calls, the objective 3 under business-friendly environment really calls for the EDA to really just change how it does business, to expand what it provides local businesses. And then it provides some basic suggestions, such as improving incentive packages for new and expanding businesses, providing, gathering resources that are available to businesses beyond monetary resources. And that's something I spent the last year trying to pulling together what resources are available through the Small Business Administration, through the Small Business Development Center, through the EDA, through Economic Development Administration. And ultimately, we talked about this last time you guys met, having those resources available in kind of a one-stop shop online with a website. Whatever we do with an economic development website needs to work in tandem with any changes to our county website so that there's synergy there. That's what slowed that process down. But, you know, we could pursue EDA funds to set up a revolving loan fund. So the county's enterprise zone was just renewed for an additional 8 years, and we're getting ready to go through the process of expanding or changing the geography, the boundary of that enterprise zone to areas where we would like to see certain kinds of development or commercial development, and the incentive packages. So right now, the incentive packages that the county was able to offer were through the Planning District Commission, and they're no longer involved in our enterprise zone. So we're kind of going it alone. Our enterprise zone is also shared with the town of Kilmarnock, who have their own incentive packages. So we need to be able to match what the state provides as an incentive with our own incentives. And that could be kind of what the PDC had, which is a micro-enterprise loan that you could add onto it. We could.
Tell me about that. We can issue loans?
Well, the PDC had a micro-enterprise loan program where you could get up to $1,000 for a small business to make. to make improvements to the business, specifically capital improvements to the facades of those businesses, which not.
But I heard you in another, earlier you were talking, you said the EDA's.
Revolving loan.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that the same thing you're talking about? the
Yeah,
revolving
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
what that micro enterprise
that's
looks
So
like.
we can't issue loans, like,
loan? How does that work as an EDA? Are we actually issuing the loan or?
I'm saying that that's something that we should explore. We should
Okay.
explore options
Yeah.
that are available to us beyond the grant program that we currently have.
And
right.
This was something, I think did you and I talk about this before, or did I? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I was like, I feel like I talked with somebody about this
What-
idea.
On the incentive packages you mentioned, what kind of incentives are we able, are we able to do anything we want to do, or?
We need to explore what's available to us. I mean,
Okay.
some counties and towns, some municipalities offer tax, sunsetting tax incentives to businesses. Some offer the waiving, like the town of Kilmarnock offers the waiving of permit fees, the waiving of tap fees. We obviously don't have public infrastructure where we can do that. But we need to explore as a group any and all options, and as a county really. So what I was going to suggest is, if I may, the grant criteria need to be updated first, and we need to figure out as a group what our objectives are and how that aligns with 2035. And I suggest putting together a small group of you guys, 3 or less, and adding in a couple of members of the citizens, CBRAC, to come together to make sure that there's alignment between what we're trying to do through our economic strategy and what you guys do through your activities, and at the same time explore different resources, including funding resources and incentive packages, and how we support expanding and attracting business.
No, I think that's, an ad hoc committee would be great to dive into it and then come back to the full board with a recommendation of a new criteria and some new ideas that we can all then discuss and vote on if we want to
Yeah.
proceed with any changes. Do I have any volunteers? Do I have 3 volunteers from this committee to make that a ad hoc committee? Work with John on this and some CBRAC members?
I have some, Tom, it'd be great to have you on that committee because of your experience as a banker.
That'd be fine.
On the CBRAC side, I would try my best to include Julian Patterson, who has experience with the Virginia Chamber and the Economic Development Partnership. And who else on CBRAC? I would let them volunteer, but Julian for sure.
Any other people want to, any other board members?
What kind of time commitment do we think we're talking
Yeah,
about
that's
here?
my question too.
A lot of good ideas coming from.
Tom and John, I'm on CBRAC. I'd be happy to be on that committee too.
I think that probably makes sense. If this is the focus for 2025 for you as a group, and if we have the ability to meet more than quarterly because it's less than 3 of you, 3 or less of you,
Could we, what kind of time frame do you guys have? Like, we meet?
I could probably commit to like a monthly meeting. I
Yeah,
probably can't
one
do
day a
much more
month
than that.
Over the next couple months?
Karen's not looking like monthly is gonna be.
I
can
prefer
only
quarterly,
mention-
but I could try.
it can be
You
3,
can
it can
have
be 3, up to 3.
Yeah, I could do.
Could it be rotating where everybody's involved, but we?
Oh, it can't be more than 3 because
No,
it becomes
once
a.
once you
have
have
three-
4 of you together, it's a public meeting.
But I mean, only three, but like everybody's involved where maybe we have a monthly meeting and 3 people are there, but then we get different ideas and everyone's kind of clued in. I just think quarterly doesn't move the ball forward. I've been on
No,
this
no. we
Yeah.
need
board
to
for
meet
3 years
monthly.
and
We need to
we've
meet
tried
monthly
that.
and,
Okay.
and bring it back
I can
maybe
do
next quarter
Yeah.
monthly,
to the
but
bigger group.
yeah, I could make monthly work if we could not do daytime meetings.
Yeah.
Okay. We could figure out the schedule.
Or late Friday afternoon.
I could meet monthly.
All right, so we get Roy, Tom, and Taryn in an ad hoc meeting?
Oh, wait, I think,
You don't sound excited.
wait, actually, it sounds like Lisa can do monthly and Roy was gonna do it. So Tom,
But Roy's also gonna do it as a CBREC. Can he,
if Roy
can
does
he,
it as a
can he be
CBREC,
in a different capacity there?
Roy's he's an EDA member, so regardless
So it
of
doesn't
whether he's
matter, okay.
representing CBRAC or not,
Right.
he counts as EDA.
Okay, well,
does it,
Which one of the two of you?
I've got plenty coming up this quarter, so if you
It's-
wanna go. Okay.
If you guys say how much time you individually can commit, then it's a matter of communicating with CBRAC to figure out which members there would participate in this. Right now, their focus for 2025 is housing affordability and workforce development. But there is also a need for a group of them to focus on this, which is small business, medium-sized business support, attraction. We don't want to stagnate on that. So what I would probably do is go back to them and say, we have several EDA members that would like to meet, and let them as a group decide which members want to participate on this third objective for 2025.
Karen, why don't I take Q1? And then if you wanna maybe rotate in for Q2.
I could get behind that.
Monthly meeting.
Okay.
I'll come to the monthly meeting for Q1 and then I may
Lisa,
rotate
Tom,
to-
and Rory will form an ad hoc committee to discuss the EDA grant request criteria.
Could we, oh wait, I think what we're, excuse me, God, we're suggesting is Lisa, Taryn, Tom, and Roy, but only 3 of us at one time. Lisa and I will swap out. We'll manage our schedules.
That's good.
That'll work.
Okay. And alignment with the CBRAC or the county 2035 plan and
Yep.
other things that the EDA could be doing. So that's what the group will discuss on at least a monthly basis and bring it back to the full board here to discuss. Does that sound good?
And I'll help you guys develop a kind of a report.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna help.
Oh, yeah, without that. I'll help you guys develop a report so so you guys all stay informed during the
I'm
quarterly.
quiet until I make my group move. Okay, sorry, so. should probably be-
Does that need a motion?
Yeah, you should. Make a motion to appoint those 3, 4 members, but
4.
only 3 meeting at a
4 in
time.
rotation.
To an ad hoc committee, as stated.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All right.
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you all. I think that's good. That'll be a good exercise and kind of get our focus for 20.
And I think we should schedule our first meeting today before we leave.
Sure.
I think we should look at calendars so that it doesn't slip.
Okay, we'll do that right after we adjourn. How about that?
Perfect.
Any other business to come before this group?
I do have one statement. Each year, Code of Virginia requires a statement of economic interest forms be collected from you all. They are due back on February the 3rd. This is not something that we do locally. This is state law. The clerk of the Board of Supervisors is required by the Code of Virginia to report to the Commonwealth's attorney on February 3rd any members who have not provided those forms. Then those persons are subject to a $250 fine. So if you have not already given Crystal your statement of economic interest forms, please do so on or before February 3rd. She can also provide what you did last year in case things have not changed much, which may make it easier for you. I know that form is pretty lengthy, so.
Do they
Got
have
yours in,
that-
Sam? I have it. Come on. I
I
just
have-
turned mine in.
I'm working on it. Do they have that
You're working on it?
form that is digital? Like it would be easier to copy and paste a lot of that information in from, yeah, but it would just be easier to copy and paste like all the holdings in. That would be great. Yeah, yep, perfect. Thank you.
All right,
That's all I have.
I just have one more thing.
it's 10:10.
Last time you guys met, we formed a partnership with the Chamber of Commerce. Roy and myself tagged along on a mailing to our short-term rental operators, welcoming them to the county, and the Chamber of Commerce as well as River Realm tagged along with letters. And our goal here is to provide them more value for the cost of operating in the county and to encourage short-term rentals that are providing a meaningful visitor experience. For better or worse, they are our hospitality industry, so. Just wanted to make sure you guys knew that the EDA was part of the letter.
Nice.
Saw that our names are on there. Very nice, very nice.
Well, if there's no other business, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So motion.
So
Second.
motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you, Roy.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks, everybody, for your time.
All right.